The morning frost is settling on rooftops lined with white. A sleepy winter silence turns silver in the light. I sit beside the window, my coffee breathing steam, thinking of the moments I once forgot to dream. The city slowly brightens, a soft forgiving tone, a quiet kind of welcome that tells me I'm not alone. With every sip the world feels gentler than before, a warmth that breaks the coldness across my inner floor. Coffee by the first light, healing me in small ways. Winter finds a softness inside these peaceful days. Hope is in the sunrise, golden on the snow, a sign that I'll keep moving wherever life may go. Coffee by the first light, I feel my spirit grow. A couple laughs and whispers, a writer taps the air, creating brand new futures with dreams they choose to share. A gentle song is playing above the quiet crowd, a melody of comfort that's warm but not too loud. I breathe in all the stillness, the calm around the room, and think of how the morning removes the night's old gloom. I'm learning how to notice the softest forms of grace, the kindness of the sunrise touching every face. Coffee by the first light, guiding me through slow hours. Every sip reminds me that even pain has powers to turn into a lesson, to show me where to stand. The morning shines its wisdom across this quiet land. Maybe hope is fragile, but fragile still can shine. A single winter morning can realign the mind. And though I walk uncertain through days I hardly know, the light that fills this cafe still tells me where to go. Coffee by the first light, lifting me again. A sunrise glowing softly writes peace upon my skin. I'm ready for the journey, no matter where it leads, with winter skies above me and warmth for all my needs. Coffee by the first light, I rise from inner seas. Before the sun arrives to paint the rooftops gold and pale blue skies, I sit alone beside this cup and watch the winter shadows rise. The cafe hums in quiet tones, a calm that settles in my chest. Outside the frost draws fragile lines, inside my heart finds needed rest. Every winter feels like waiting for a door to open wide. Every sip feels like a promise that the cold won't stay inside. So I breathe in the warmth, let it soften the ache. Let the dawn take its time as the snowfall awakes. With this coffee in hand, I can feel something move. All the pieces of hope finding space to improve. In the hush of the morning, I quietly rise with my coffee before the sun arrives. The wooden floor, the gentle light, the distant sound of closing books. It feels like every winter hour is softer than it ever looks. And though my heart has known its storms, today it beats a bit more clear. The warmth inside this little cup reminds me brighter days are near. Maybe morning isn't sunlight, maybe morning starts within. Maybe hope is born in moments where the quiet first begins. As the daylight slowly gathers and the sky turns warm and wide, I rise with one small promise that I'll meet the world outside. So I breathe in the warmth, let it soften the ache. Let the dawn take its time as the snowfall awakes. With this coffee in hand, I can feel something move. All the pieces of hope finding space to improve. In the hush of the morning, I quietly rise with my coffee before the sun arrives. The snow begins its quiet dance across the early morning roads. The cafe lights are waking too, their amber glow dissolving cold. I walk inside and shake the frost. The warmth surrounds me like a song, a place where winter doesn't feel quite as sharp or quite as long. And though the world is frozen, my heart begins to thaw. In simple signs of comfort I'd forgotten I once saw. Cafe lights in the falling snow, a gentle place my worries go. With a cup between my hands, I remember what I used to know. That hope survives the winter winds and rises softly in the glow of cafe light in the falling snow. The steam curls up like whispered prayers and settles on the window's frame. I watch reflections gather there like quiet echoes of my name. The morning crowd begins to stir, scarves and gloves and snowy shoes, and suddenly the world feels full of tiny hopeful winter finds her clues. Maybe joy arrives unnoticed, maybe peace is found in small and overlooked December moments when our backs are to the wall. But somewhere in the soft piano and the scent of roasted beans, I find a piece of who I was and who I still can be. Cafe lights in the falling snow, a gentle place my worries go. With a cup between my hands, I remember what I used to know, that hope survives the winter winds and rises softly in the glow of cafe lights in the falling snow. The city wakes and whispers, snow drifting in the air. The winter light grows brighter with every breath I bear. I find a seat in silence beside the wooden frame, the window glowing softly as dawn begins to flame. My coffee warms my heartbeat, a steady gentle rise, a calm I never noticed until this morning skies. The hush before the sunlight reminds me how to be a softer, clearer version of who I hope to see. This is the calm that coffee brought to me, a quiet strength I didn't see. In the soft embrace of morning, I breathe more easily. The sunrise writes its message in lines of golden three. Yes, this is the calm that coffee brought to me. The barista lights a candle, the flame a gentle lift. It dances in the corner like giving me a gift. A couple shares a moment, a writer sips his tea, and every small reflection feels like it's meant for me. The winter sky keeps glowing, its colors warm and slow, and all the things I carry feel lighter in its glow. For even worn out mornings can bloom with something pure, a subtle note of healing that makes the soul endure. This is the calm that coffee brought to me, the settling of what used to be, with the quiet cafe sunlight soothing every plea. My breath grows deep and steady, my thoughts feel finally free. Yes, this is the calm that coffee brought to me. Maybe peace is simple, a moment held with care, a cup of warmth reminding that someone's always there. And though the world feels heavy, the morning sets it right, with just a touch of stillness and one soft ray of light. This is the calm that coffee brought to me, a gentle winter melody. The sunrise through the window unlocks what I can be. With every sip I gather strength to face what waits for me. Yes, this is the calm that coffee brought to me. There's a stillness in the morning that drifts across the floor, the gentle hum of winter just outside the cafe door. I breathe the rising steam from the cup between my hands and feel the world grow lighter in ways I understand. The snow reflects the sunrise, a blush of rosy gold, and in that quiet shimmer the day begins to unfold. Sometimes the softest moments are where the truth appears, in simple morning silence that clears the night of fears. This is the cafe where hope begins. In the quiet glow the day lets in, with the warmth of winter coffee touching everything I've been. Every sunrise through the window paints forgiveness on my skin. Here in this cafe I learn where hope begins. The people move like stories, each carrying their own. Some whisper dreams in journals, some just sit alone. But all of us are searching for something warm and true, a small unspoken promise that life can start anew. And in this winter morning the light becomes a guide, a gentle golden compass that stirs the soul inside. A single breath of quiet can soften what was tough. The morning teaches softly that being here is enough. This is the cafe where hope begins, where the weary heart can mend again. With every sip the silence writes peace within my grin. The sunrise on the snow feels like a healing violin. Here in this cafe I remember hope again. Maybe hope is steady, a candle's gentle glow, not loud but deeply loyal through every thaw and snow. And though the world feels fragile, I find my strength restored in mornings like this moment, where light spills through the door. This is the cafe where hope begins, in the warmth that settles in my limbs. And even if tomorrow adds shadows to my whims, I'll return to this small sunlight that sings from deep within. Here in this cafe my hope begins again. A pale blue dawn is rising, snow resting on the street. The quiet hum of winter moves softly underneath. My hands wrap round the coffee, the warmth begins to climb, reminding me that healing takes just a little time. Outside the world is waking, but gently, not too fast. A patience in the morning that says the pain will pass. And as the sunlight filters in, I feel the weight release. A moment made of stillness, a fragile kind of peace. Sunrise over my quiet heart, slowly pulling me apart from all the doubts I used to hold. The stories left untold, with each golden ray that falls on me. I breathe a little the start of morning wind. The chairs are empty mostly, a couple reads nearby. A barista hums a love song as the hours drift by. Steam curls from my cup like a whisper from the past, telling me to loosen the worries held too fast. The world outside keeps glowing, a soft and amber hue, a promise in the silence that something bright is new. Maybe life's been heavy, but mornings make it right. A lesson wrapped in kindness, in gentle winter light. Sunrise over my quiet heart, untying every scar. The cold begins to soften now. I feel it from afar. If hope is just a warming cup, then let it fill me up. With the sunrise spilling softly, I rise beyond the past into something warm at last. Some days I lose direction, but mornings find me whole. A single drop of sunlight can reorganize my soul. And even in the coldest times, there's beauty left to see. The promise that tomorrow will open tenderly. Sunrise over my quiet heart, I'm learning where to start. Every breath feels lighter now as shadows grow apart. Let the winter morning guide me, steady, calm and true. With this coffee and the sunrise, I begin again renewed. A pale blue dawn unfolds its wings and melts the frost upon the street. My footsteps echo softly through the quiet world beneath my feet. Inside the cafe's early glow, my fingers wrap around the heat. A cup of morning comfort where the cold and hope first gently meet. And as the snowlight fills the windows like a blessing from the sky, I feel the heaviness inside me, slowly learning how to fly. Snowlight over my cup, warming all my broken parts. Every sip a small reminder that the day can still restart. Through the winter breath of morning, I can hear my spirit grow, finding faith within the sunlight, softly dancing on the snow. The wooden chairs, the golden lamps, they glow like memories half awake. And every heartbeat feels like thawing from a long and gentle ache. I breathe the steam and close my eyes. The world feels safe behind this door, and hope sits quietly beside me, just the way it did before. Maybe winter teaches courage in the fragileness of day. Maybe hope arrives and whispers through the things we throw away. And this little cup of comfort says the storm will pass me by. Every sunrise has a promise, every morning broken parts. Every sip a small reminder that the day can still restart. Through the winter breath of morning, I can feel my spirit grow. Finding faith within the sunlight, softly dancing on the snow. In silver frost and quiet snow drifts down the street. I hold a cup of early warmth. The steam feels like it speaks to me. Inside this small and sleepy cafe, your laughter lingers in the air. The winter wind taps on the glass, but here I breathe a softer prayer. And every dawn reminds my heart that I'm still learning how to heal. In the gentle light of morning, I remember how hope feels. So let this coffee warm my hands, let the daylight warm my soul. On this quiet winter morning, I'm learning how to let things go. Through the windows, dreams awaken, just like footprints in the snow. I'm finding pieces of tomorrow in the morning steam of hope. Chairs, the books, the cafe lights all whisper stories soft and mild. And though the world feels cold outside, my heart grows slow but reconciled. I sip the warmth and close my eyes. The winter hum begins to fade. Somewhere in the silent sunrise, new beginnings start to break. Maybe life is just a series of unspoken little prayers. Maybe hope is hidden gently in the scent of roasted air. And as the snow melts on the railing, I can hear my heartbeat say, there is still a brighter season quietly waiting on its way. So let this coffee warm my hands, let the daylight warm my soul. On this peaceful winter morning, I feel a strength I didn't know. Through the windows, dreams awaken, just like footprints in the snow. I'm finding pieces of tomorrow in the morning steam of hope. Ooh, 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 ooh. Snow gathers on the sidewalk, a quiet winter sheet. The sunrise melts in colors that drift across the street. Inside this gentle cafe, the world begins to slow. A place where all the noise outside turns softer in its glow. My coffee warms my fingers, the steam begins to rise, and morning peace surrounds me like calm and whispered skies. For moments such as this one hold more than what they seem. A chance to breathe more gently, a place to start a dream. This is the morning peace beneath the snow. glass reveals the softest flower. With coffee warming both my hands, I let my worries go and feel the morning peace beneath the falling snow. A stranger hums a melody, a child laughs down the street. The rhythm of the winter feels steady and complete. A barista lifts the curtains and sunlight floods the air, reminding me that healing can happen anywhere. The chairs creak with a whisper, the floorboards hum along, and everything around me feels shaped into a song. There's beauty in the stillness, and moments drifting slow, the kind that helps the heart recall the warmth it used to know. This is the morning peace beneath the snow, a gentle place for hearts to grow. The sunrise writes its message in tender amber glow. With every sip I realize there's strength in taking slow, and find the morning peace beneath the falling snow. Maybe life is teaching to listen more within, to trust the quiet mornings where new days can begin. And though the nights feel endless, the sun breaks through the cold, reminding me that even now my story still unfolds. This is the morning peace beneath the snow, a truth that daylight seems to know. The warmth inside this cafe lets hidden hopes all show. With every breath I rise again, with every step I grow, wrapped in morning peace beneath the winter snow. The morning light breaks slowly through the frosted window pane. The cafe hums with quiet breaths as winter whispers soft again. A cup of warmth between my palms reminds me I'm still holding on. Outside the world is pale and white, inside my heart begins its dawn. And as the snow drifts down in silence, like a prayer without a sound, I feel something lost inside me finally turning back around. Winter breathing through the glass, softly teaching me to last. Every sip of morning coffee helps the sorrow gently pass. In the glow of early sunlight, I can feel tomorrow rise. Winter breathing through the glass opens up my tired eyes. The wooden counter holds its warmth, the chairs remember quiet nights. I watch reflections blur the cold and turn it into softer lights. And in this peaceful corner seat, I let my thoughts unwind and flow, building courage cup by cup, as gentle as the falling snow. Maybe hope arrives in fragments, just like winter's quiet hue. Maybe healing starts the moment we admit what we've been through. And in this little morning ritual, I rediscover my own name, a spark of who I used the streets awake and white before the frost has had its say. I find a seat beside the glow that opens up the winter day. The scent of coffee fills the air, a quiet anthem for the soul. And in this small familiar corner I begin to feel made whole, because every winter morning holds a promise in its shine, and the sunlight on the table tells me all will be just fine. This is where the warmth begins again, in the calm of 9 a.m. with a simple cup before me and a heart that learns to mend. In the hush of winter weather I can breathe and understand. This is where the warmth begins again. The snow outside keeps falling slow, yet nothing feels too cold to bear. The chatter's soft, the music low, a tender life begins to stir. And though the year has brought its storms, today I feel a softer truth, that even in the darkest season there's a dawn that's made for you. Maybe hope's a tiny ember hidden deep within the past, but here it sparks again in silence as the morning shadows pass. And with each sip I feel the turning of a chapter undefined, a quiet strength that gently whispers that I haven't been left behind. This is where the warmth begins again, in the calm of 9 a.m. with a simple cup before me and a heart that learns to mend. In the hush of winter weather I can breathe and understand. This is where the warmth begins again. The snow rests on the branches, a quiet winter crown. The sky is pale and glowing, the sunlight drifts down. Inside this little cafe, the world feels far away, a place where broken pieces can softly learn to stay. My coffee warms my fingers, the scent hangs in the air, gentle reassurance that hope is always there. And every ray of morning slips golden through the glass, reminding me that healing is something time lets pass. Here's where the morning begins again, in the quiet of a winter den. With the hush of dawn upon my skin I breathe the world anew. All the worries that I carried here fade like shadows, disappear. With coffee warming all I am, I find a calmer truth. This is where the morning begins again in me. A stranger wipes the window, their smile soft and kind, a subtle understanding that lives in winter time. The chairs are gently creaking, the lights are dim but warm, as though the room itself is protecting me from storms. The sunrise paints the pavement with streaks of amber gold, and in that quiet moment my breath feels brave and bold. It's how simple mornings can stitch the heart back whole. A little cup of comfort, rearranging all the soul. Here's where the morning begins again, where the world feels soft as wind, with the glow of dawn reminding me there's more than what I knew. Every loss I carried yesterday loosens in the light today. With coffee warming all I am, I lean towards something true. Yes, this is where the morning begins again in me. Maybe hope is gentle, arriving cup by cup, a warmth that slowly teaches the heart to rise back up. And even if the winter feels colder now and then, the morning keeps returning, inviting me again. Here's where the morning begins again, with the softest grace within. Let the sunrise write forgiveness over everything I've been. As my breath grows calm and steady, I feel the day begin already. With coffee and the golden light, I start my life renewed. For this is where the morning begins again. The morning lifts its curtain with colors soft and thin. Snow rests on the rooftops like gentle violin. I sit inside the cafe, my fingers warm and slow. A sunrise paints its blessing across the world below. The quiet hum of winter wraps softly round my mind, and something deep within me begins to realign. For every quiet sunrise holds something to reveal, a tender kind of comfort that teaches hearts to heal. This is where the first light finds my soul, mending places I don't show. In the hush of winter morning, I feel my spirit glow. With coffee in my trembling hands, I breathe a softer roll. Yes, this is where the first light finally finds my soul. A stranger wipes his glasses, a woman hums a tune. The air feels touched by silver, as if remembering June. My cup reflects the sunrise in quiet swirling rings, reminding me that healing is made of smaller things. The windows catch the brightness the snow begins to keep, and all the grief I carried feels lighter in its sweep. It's strange how winter mornings reshape the heart in me, a little at the edges in ways I barely see. This is where the first light finds my soul, turning brokenness to gold. In the warmth of early coffee, I loosen what I hold. The sunrise hums forgiveness in every tender fold. Yes, this is where the first light comes searching through the cold. Maybe hope is gentle, arriving as a beam, not loud enough to wake you, but soft soft enough to dream. And though the nights are heavy, the morning still remains to show that winter silence won't echo in my veins. This is where the first light finds my soul, filling spaces once controlled. Through the winter glass it whispers that I can be made whole. The cafe glows around me in quiet amber bowls, and here is where the first light finally heals my soul. Morning settles softly against the frosted pane, a silver world of quiet where winter holds its reign. My coffee curls in circles, a rising gentle heat, pulling me from shadows I've stumbled in for weeks. The cafe hums a lullaby in muted amber tones, and suddenly the silence doesn't feel like being alone. The sunlight climbs the edges, then pours across the floor, a quiet golden river that I can't ignore. When the sun came through the glass, everything began to pass. The heaviness I carry, the doubts I let a mess. The cafe lit in honey light unwraps the night at last. Hope became a whisper when the sun came through the glass. A barista lights a candle, the flame a tiny star. It flickers with the promise that brighter days aren't far. A man sits by the doorway, hands wrapped around his cup, and in his quiet breathing I feel my own lift up. Outside the snow keeps falling, but gently like a song, a rhythm winter teaches to carry us along. And every bit of sunlight reminds my heart to see that even in this season there's room for clarity. When the sun came through the glass, all the fears began to pass. I saw the world grow softer with every golden splash. The cafe turned a brighter hue, the shadows lost their grasp. My spirit came back slowly when the sun came through the glass. Maybe hope is patient, it waits outside the door, arriving in the morning when we're ready to restore. And though the winter lingers with memories of the past, the sunrise teaches gently that pain won't always last. When the sun came through the glass, my heart unclenched at last. The cold began to loosen its hold around the past, with coffee warming both my hands and courage rising fast. I learned that life can brighten when the sun comes through the glass. When the sun came through the glass. Snowflakes fall like drifting letters written by the silent sky. Through the cafe windows glow, I watch the winter passing by. The steaming cup between my hands reflects the dawn's uncertain light. And though the cold is everywhere, my heart feels soft and almost bright. Maybe healing isn't sudden, maybe hope is slow to bloom, but this quiet winter morning gives my tired spirit room. So I sit by the window with my coffee and the snow, letting all my yesterdays fade gently as they go. In the hush of winter sunlight, I can finally breathe again. At this warm and humble table, I remember who I am. The distant chatter, clinking cups, the soft aroma in the air, they bring a calmness to my chest, as if someone unseen is there. I watch the children cross the street, their laughter lifting up the day, and something in that simple joy slowly melts my fears away. Life is made of tiny moments that we often overlook, like a sunrise through a window or a half-read open book. Hope returns in quiet footsteps, slower than the winter rain. Yet today I feel it find me as it whispers my name again. So I sit by the window with my coffee and the snow, letting all my yesterdays fade gently as they go. In the hush of winter sunlight, I can finally breathe again. At this warm and humble table, I remember who I am. I warm the cup with steady hands, a tiny wish the heart commands. You're far away across the snow, walking roads I barely know, but still I sit and save this heat, a gift for when our shadows meet. The winter sun cuts through the room, chasing off the lingering gloom. I watch the steam, I whisper low, a silent message meant to go. You're not alone, not in this fight. I'm holding warm for you tonight. Distance bends but doesn't break the quiet love that mornings make. Holding heat for someone far, wherever in the world you are. Snowflakes cling to window frames, everyone a whispered name. I send the warmth through winter air, a living prayer that finds you there. May every sip you take today remind you of your steady way. Hope doesn't need a hand to hold, it reaches through the biting cold. And even when the miles attempt to wear you down, to make you bend, this warmth will keep the dark at bay. A little love from far away, holding heat for someone far, a lantern glowing where you are, a promise soft but never scarred. You're braver than the night so hard, holding heat for someone far. My heart knows where you are. Holding the cup, I breathe again, letting go of shadows where I've been. The morning hush feels soft and wide, a calmer world on the other side. I sip the warmth and close my eyes, let silence answer all my whys. Outside the snow collects in lines, soft as half-forgotten signs. People rush, but I stay slow, a little pocket where I grow. The cold can't reach this gentle place, where coffee warms my hidden space. And every time the fear returns, a tiny flame inside still burns. Hold the cup, hold the day, tell myself I'll find my way. Even winter can turn me gray, hope is warmer anyway. Hold the cup, hold the day, let my quiet courage stay. There's something healing in the steam, a fragile map to all I dream. I trace it lightly with my breath, a promise climbing out of death. And though the world may overwhelm, I learn to take back my own realm. Softly, softly intricate shapes that spell your name. Morning breath of pale white shadow. Everything feels just the same. Coffee steam like rising ghosts, carrying all the words I lost. Every thought of you still floats. Ooh, soft as snow the night had tossed. December lines on my window pane, drawing memories I can't contain. You were warmth in a frozen dawn, a quiet fire I leaned upon. Even now this winter glow writes your story in the snow. Street lamps fade in gentle hues, cold air wraps the sky in blue. Every step recalls the truth. I once lived the world with you. If the frost could bring you near, I trace your warmth in atmosphere. Let the winter silence hear all the longing kept for years. December lines on my window pane, love like this won't fade again. Snow may fall and nights may grow, still your light stays soft and slow in this winter's tender glow. I remember all I know. Under winter lamps I sit alone, watching vapor dance above my cup. The cold has never felt this numb, ever since our time was up. Streetlights stretch across the snow, painting colors on the night. I replay what I used to know, trying to hold the fading light. Coffee smoke under winter lamps, memories drift like quiet stamps. Frozen letters on my mind, moments we left far behind. But still I wait for one more chance beneath these mellow winter lamps. The cafe feels like yesterday, warm but louder without you. I hear you laugh in soft decay, like an echo passing through. Let the snow rebuild our story. Even if it doesn't last, it felt like love in all its glory. Coffee smoke under winter lamps, lonely roads and frostbit hands. Still I search the midnight sky for the dream we let pass by. Winter keeps its gentle trance, and I breathe you in by chance. Winter morning, pale and bright, the world outside wrapped in white. I sit beside the window's glow, watching soft lit snowflakes flow. A cup of warmth between my hands, a peace the season understands.
The city hums in muted tones, footsteps soft on cobbled stones. But here inside the quiet shines a gentle pause between the lines. The light that spills across my face feels like a slow returning grace.
And in this stillness soft and thin, I feel a warming from within. The light inside the winter window, finding me where I stay low. It breaks the dark I've carried in, soft as breath upon the skin. The light inside the winter window, whispering begin again, slow. I watch the sun climb past the glass, turning minutes into brass. A fragile glow, a quiet start, unfreezing corners of my heart. And though the world is cold and wide, there's something blooming deep inside. Perhaps the light knows where I've been and gently touches me again. A silent promise, warm and real, a tiny ember learning heal. The light inside the winter window, filling places shadows won't go. It steadies me through rising air, a hope too fragile to compare. The light inside the winter window, I think it's time to let it show. At the window seat where mornings start, the light pours in and warms my heart. A single beam across the floor feels like a knocking on my door. lift my cup and watch it shine. A quiet moment wholly mine. Footsteps echo from the street, snow collecting at their feet. Yet in this seat the glow remains, a shelter from the winter strains. I feel the tension slowly fade, a peace the sunlight gently made. Here in the quiet soft embrace, warm light traces every place. Windowseat Glow, a warmth the cold can overthrow, a quiet way for hope to grow, a gentle light that tells me so. The day unfolds in muted gold, a soft reminder to be bold. The light that dances on the rim makes broken things feel less so grim. And in its touch I find a way to start believing in today. Maybe change begins like this, in moments soft as morning bliss. Maybe light can reach below and warm the places shadows go. Windowseat Glow, a truth I'm learning now to know. A softer heart begins to show, a little strength through winter snow. Windowseat glow, I'm ready now to grow. I sit where the sun finds me, through the window quietly. Its golden touch across my hair feels like someone's whispered prayer. Outside winter breathes, it's cold, but here a softer warmth takes hold.
I rest my palms around the mud, letting each warm moment tug at all the worries in my chest. Winter light knows how to rest. The glow reflects on polished wood and tells me life can still be good. Even in the frozen air, sunlight carves a path somewhere. hope begins to see. The steam from coffee drifts above, a quiet dance of fragile love. And in its rise I feel a start thawing in my winter heart. The light refracts across the glass, promising this cold won't last. Every dawn writes something new, a softer truth, a warmer hue. And even if I move too slow, the sun still finds me through the snow. Where the sun finds me, I breathe again more easily, a little stronger finally, becoming who I long to be. Where the sun finds me, the winter light sets me free. Your tired heart's been far too brave, carrying more than you could save. But in this quiet winter light, you don't have to stand and fight. Sit with me and take a breath. Let warmth arrive and soften stress. A bitter wind outside may roar, but here you're safe, you're needing more. Let coffee fill the space inside, a moment where your fears subside. It's okay to rest your guard. It's okay that life feels hard. In this little cafe glow, let your heartbeat learn to slow. Warm for the weary heart, a place for you to fall apart. And in the steam, a gentle start, a chance to mend the fragile part. Warm for the weary heart, you've carried pain like quiet art. You've walked through storms without a sound, still offering love to all around. But here the morning calls your name with softer winds and gentle flame. Let light return in tender waves. You've earned the peace this moment saves. You don't have to be so strong, not every day, not all day long. Sometimes hope is warm and small, but still enough to lift it all. Warmth for the weary heart, a slow and healing counterpart. Take this moment, let it start. You are more than what fell apart. Warmth for the weary heart. This cup is where your new days start. Golden lines across the floor, sliding through the cafe door. The winter light arrives so slow, touching places I don't show. I wrap my hands around the heat and feel my heartbeat softly beat. Snow outside collects in streams, but sunlight threads through fragile seams. It paints the table, warms the chair, a quiet kindness in the air. And though the night felt cold and long, this gentle glow is growing strong. Maybe this is how it starts. A light that mends the smaller parts. Golden lines across the floor, teaching me I'm worth much more. Warming where I've closed the door, healing what I once ignored. Golden lines across the floor, a light I'm learning to explore. Coffee steam begins to rise, blurring thoughts behind my eyes. I breathe it in a humble grace, a softness filling up my space. Every ray that finds my skin feels like hope inviting in. Maybe light arrives to stay, even when I look away. Maybe I don't have to chase the glow that meets me in this place. Golden lines across the floor, folding warmth into my core, letting me believe once more that brighter days are what I'm for. Golden lines across the floor,